That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, does he get Vault here? Like, I assume.
Yeah, he gets Vault. Plays it. Is there much his opponent can do? His opponent's tapped out, right?
Yeah, and I can't imagine he's got something here that is free.
Yeah. Dean's kind of looking for somewhat. He's looking at the other card in his hand. Doesn't seem like he's got much, unfortunately.
I think he might just be wishing he left up that wear tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seemed.
Yeah, taking out that tangle wire didn't seem all that important. Yep.
Yeah,
and there you go.
Dean
can't do anything.
Just infinite turns, no out.
Yeah, so that's pretty frustrating. I mean, we saw a little bit more of Dean's deck in that game.
Like he assembled the sword combo of this game. That at least tells us how we can win. Like, we didn't really get a hint of much.
Unfortunately, that combo is just a little bit outclassed by having all the turns.
Yeah, I mean, even if he put infinite power into play, he would have died after that. And he put only one, well, two because of the sword.
Yeah, but it was cool. I mean, we saw Matt's deck kind of doing some cool stuff. Clearly a deck that he's still kind of learning the lines in, and all right, so we're seeing a Tez now from.
All right, welcome back to the booth, guys. I'm Tom Arthur.
I'm Tom Clift.
And it's good to be with you. So that was round 3 of the Invitational, Highlander portion. Our next round will be Legacy.
Yep.
I don't believe we have any further coverage this round because we only have one feature match per round.
But congratulations to Matt for going now up to 3-0. So he'll
that's definitely the start he wants. I believe we'll have standings coming at the end of the round. I'm not sure how many games are still in progress, but you'll be able to see how everyone's doing shortly. Okay, we're just getting word that everyone's actually done, so the standings
should be coming up very shortly, and then we'll, I guess, go straight into round 4.
Yeah, so we'll be back to Legacy
pretty shortly.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some new decks.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting just looking around. I mean, obviously, we've got 17, I think 18 players.
17, I believe.
And you know, between the 3 formats, there's a ton of different decks going out there. Like when back in round 1 of Modern, we saw a couple of Jund decks, a couple of Grixis decks. There was an Amulet deck, an Infect deck. At least one person was on Codex Shredder Lantern Control.
Yeah, Lantern Control. I saw that.
And then in Legacy, you've got there's an Allurin deck.
Oh, there is great. I really like Allurin. I know it's not the best deck. I'm a huge fan of that card.
Yeah, it was pretty sure. I don't think Michael got there with Allurin, unfortunately, so you might not be seeing him in coverage.
Unfortunate.
But it is sweet. There's a Manaless Dredge deck, because at least one person doesn't want anyone to have any fun. Yeah. A bunch of Delver decks. I don't know. I didn't see any Miracles out there, but I didn't.
Okay, I'm interested about that. Miracle's quite good. Yeah, in the booth we saw Infect versus Grixis Delver.
With Infect getting there, I think in turn 5.
Turn 3.
Turn 3. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, he had tons. Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah, one more turn to top deck that Invigorate. Yeah, that was close. Thought it was going to be a draw, but he got there.
Yeah, he did. So, yeah, I mean, we'll have a couple of players on 3-0 at the end of this.
Yeah, there'll be a couple, 2 or 3, depending on how it's all fallen. Someone's laughing in chat. I'm glad they're having fun.
I think that is Liz, who is dating the son of a bitch on Manaless Dredge. So that probably explains.
Oh, that's a delightful way to refer to them.
Yeah,
I'm sure she'll hit you next time she sees you.
Well, I probably had it coming. So yeah, hopefully we should be able to get those standings up fairly soon, and then into.
I think they're just being posted with the players. I'm not sure if we're going to get them on stream or not. I believe it's on a different PC. I'm not sure what the plan is.
Sure. Oh, in any case, we should have some. We should have some magic for you soon. So if you were playing in this event, what decks would you have brought for each portion? Do you think?
That's a good question. For Modern, I would have probably brought Grixis Twin. I've been playing it a lot, but I may have played Grixis Control. Definitely a Grixis deck. I've been playing that the most lately.
Colligan's Command, good card.
Yeah, definitely. Snapcaster Mage is even better.
Yeah, those two go quite well together, I think.
For certain. For Legacy, I haven't really played a lot of Legacy. What would I have taken?
I mean, it's interesting.
Probably one of the Delver decks. I feel like they're pretty well positioned, and I definitely haven't put in the reps for one of the combo decks, or I don't feel confident playing Miracles. So.
Yeah. I mean, Miracles is certainly a very hard deck to just pick up. I don't have.
It just takes a long time, and I don't want to time out a lot.
That's true. Well, it's interesting. I know Paul, who we were alluding to before, he's on Manaless Dredge, and I think the reason he picked that is because he has almost no Legacy experience, and he wanted to kind of play a deck that was kind of difficult to interact with and just kind of wasn't attacking the format in a way that that a lot of other decks are. So perhaps that would have been an interesting choice if you're not as familiar. I mean, the deck doesn't really play like a Magic deck in a lot of ways, but I guess that's part of the appeal if you kind of don't know what you should be playing around.
I guess it's not as good with all the death rates floating around as it once was. Like, the deck's still incredibly powerful, but hate's just more prevalent than it used to be.
Yeah, and it absolutely just folds to hate because you can't cast spells to deal with the hate.
Yeah.
You haven't got any mana. And what about Highlander?
That's a good question. I like playing Zoo a lot, but I'm not sure I'd bring it to this. I also enjoy the 4-color mid-rangey decks.
You like with the clamps and the...
Yeah, Skull Clamp is a really sweet card. Also, like, maybe one of the pod decks, maybe not pod, but probably pod in the mid-range.
It does feel like there's been a lot of those kind of... in Highlander lately, a lot of those mid-range decks playing Skull Clamp and Stoneforge and kind of those equipment packages, and then Birthing Pod, and they're either 3 or 4 color... and just kind of like some mana dorks and then a bunch of like great value creatures. It seems like that's a lot of what's happening in Highlander at the moment.
Yeah, some of them play various, like, some have played Jace, some have played some points to Snapcaster, some have even played A-Call at various points instead of the equipment package.
Yeah.
Dan was playing lists like that for a while. I'm not sure what's the best version, but they're pretty sweet. I do enjoy this kind of Magic. Anyway, I think we're going to head out of the booth and we'll get our commentary for next round set up. So we'll see you shortly, I think is the plan.
Yeah, with some Legacy.
Alrighty. Maybe we're here for another couple minutes, but we should be heading off shortly. I guess. Yep. All right. We'll head off, and we'll get you commentators for the next round.
Get some people who know what they're talking about with Legacy.
Yep. It looks like we'll find out who it is. We have Isaac Egan is playing against Dom, who we had in round 2 in Legacy.
Yeah. So these guys must be, I guess, maybe 3-1 because I know Isaac.
2-1, isn't it?
This is 2-1 now. This is round 4. Very good point.
Dom's on Grixis Delver. I'm not sure Isaac's on.
Isaac is on. I think it might be Grixis Delver as well.
Oh, that could definitely be interesting. A mirror between those two.
Yeah, it could just come down to play.
Yeah. Hopefully we see a tight match. Alright, it looks like we're staying with you for this round. Sir, we'll stay here.
We'll do our best to offer our expertise on Legacy.
Alrighty, this at least we know what people are playing. Last time when they shuffled up, we had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, and it's a little easier to kind of map out plays in a format where people are playing 4-ofs instead of a bunch of 1-offs.
Yes. It looks like they're shuffling up. Oh. We can go to the table if we're ready. I mean, it's just us here. Alrighty, so
I think
haven't had the names updated.
So Dom there on the left, and Isaac with the Sneak and Show playmat on the right. Yep. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Grixis Delver mirror.
Cool. We can just hear Isaac yelling out very loudly that there's 55 minutes in the round. Yep, just shuffling up. Don't know who on the die roll. Maybe we can find that out for you guys.
So yeah, both our players are 2-1. So I think 4-2 probably makes it.
I'm not sure. We'll find out at the end of the day. Like, we 17 people in 6 rounds, but 3 players did have a round 1 bye.
That's true. Yeah, we had 2 people who earned a round 1 bye through winning qualifier tournaments to get here, and then we also have an odd number of players. So
that means people have bye since round 1. But in round 1, we had 14 people playing, so there was just 7 clean matches.
Right. Yep.
Still shuffling. All the joys, but, well, drawing hands now.
Alright, so let's see if we can have no mulligans. So I'm seeing a Deathrite, a Force of Will. Is that a Force of Will? A Fetch Land. Some other cards in Isaac's hand. Yeah, he's happy and they're both keeping, so Fetch into Deathrite seems like a fairly good start for this deck.
But I'm also happy to have a game where both our players actually kept the opening 7.
Yeah, that's
We've had a lot of mulligans throughout the day. I think it's only been 3, but there's only been 4 like 5 games.
It can really feel like they add up. And Dom is also leading off with a Deathrite. So, well, both kind of good starts for the players.
The Deathrite battle is interesting. Also of note is that's, I believe, Dom's only green source.
Yeah, I think both are playing a single tropical island.
So this opens up to get Wasteland, which is interesting. But yeah, as I was saying before, when both players with Deathrite, the dance becomes interesting. But
Isaac took care of that Deathrite, and now he's playing a second one. So, gets into the red zone with Deathrite Shaman number 1.
I assume Dom just played that land because it meant he didn't have to fetch, so he didn't give Isaac any fuel for his Deathrite.
That's true. Well, there is already a fetch land.
Yeah, but it'll be one of his own.
Yeah, for sure. So, got a Misty from Dom.
Yeah, you could. No, got a follow-up. Another Deathrite. Oh my god, that's 2 each, a total of 4. That's a lot. Interesting thing is here that after he fetches, his lands still won't make one of his colors because he has to get either an underground sea or volcanic.
Yeah, that's true.
It is possible the cards on the right of proxies. This event today is full proxy.
Yeah.
As is common with many of the leagues in Melbourne. I'm not sure if they are or not. I know Isaac does own some foreign black bordered jewels. But yeah, that underground sea looks pretty slanted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really good. I think that these leagues that we've had going over the past 12 months or so, a lot of it's been about encouraging people to play formats that they might not necessarily play, and so that's why we've got I believe the Legacy League was unlimited proxies, and then the Modern and the Highlander League, which both led into this event, had some amount of proxies you're allowed to play.
It was 75 for Highlander, so you could
probably... Oh, 75 for Highlander as well, okay. Maybe I'm sure I think Modern you could play like 20 or 25.
Yeah, sure.
But certainly I think for players who maybe don't play a lot of Legacy and want to get into it, it's been really good for helping out. I know there are a few players out in the room today who haven't played a ton of at least one of these formats.
Yeah, there's definitely a few people that have not had a huge amount of Legacy experience around.
So it looks like he ate the fetch land with his Deathrite.
Someone's saying that Isaac has a Force of Will in his hand that's obviously proxy, so I assume he's just used the Moto art. Anyway, here comes Pyromancer.
And Ponder triggering the Pyromancer. It's pretty strong.
Yep. And he also gets to leave a Deathrite untapped when there's one.
That's true. He's still got his own. He's still got another fetch in his graveyard if he wants to play another cantrip.
More importantly, no, he can't actually do that or is that Deathrite still summoning sick? It is, right?
I believe the Deathrite, yeah, sure. Dom's Deathrite still is summoning sickness.
But importantly, leaving his up means that he can eat whatever Dom would eat. Yeah, no, it's fair enough. We just figured we'd explain the proxy thing. So if it looks like a proxy, it probably is.
Yeah.
There's plenty of real cards that are floating around, especially in Highlander. A lot of people take a bunch of effort to make the Highlander deck look nice, get art that they like. Some people get this altered, a lot of people get various foils.
Yeah, the Highlander playing community tends to be... I think people who play Highlander tend to really like Highlander and take a lot of pride in putting together their favorite decks. So, Isaac...
Anyway, Isaac had a shuffle off his Ponder, which isn't great.
Plays another land, though.
Yeah, it's better than missing land drop, but it's another fetch land as well, so he can keep making mana with those Deathrites if he needs to. For more than just next one.
But just passes the turn. So reveals a lightning bolt to the Delver, flips it.
Yep.
And that's step 1. So he's got a bolt in hand that we know about.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of places don't do full legacy for like standard, like local kind of events, because it is hard for people to get the full.
I guess it's
75.
It's about finding that balance between encouraging the format, ensuring people can still play, and maybe getting new players into the format, but also not kind of devaluing the cards. And I think the people who have bothered to acquire the legacy staples want to play with them. So yeah, I do think that you need to find a balance for for whatever works for your local area. But I think especially for this tournament where some of the people here didn't play any legacy to qualify. They might have qualified through Modern and Highlander, but they still want to be able to play in the tournament, which means I think that's why all three, like the whole event, is unlimited proxies.
Yeah, also for Highlander, sometimes people need some pretty obscure cards.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can be a real pain to chase down.
Yeah, and I mean, people play A-Call and Black Lotus, so... Yeah.
Here we see a Bolt in response. I think he used his Deathrite for mana, and Dom let it go? Is that what happened?
So I think...
Yeah, it looks like it.
I think that he fetched and bolted... No, he
fetched and ate it with a Deathrite, I believe, and Dom didn't eat it in response.
Oh, now he's bolting the Young Pyromancer.
Yep.
Well, so pretty productive turn there from Dom. Got a Deathrite off the table and a Young Pyromancer off the table and played a Delver.
Okay, so we're being told that Isaac's Deathrite exiled the Bolt to deal 2.
Right, okay, exiled, that makes sense.
Rather than make mana, which is what I thought was happening. That makes much more sense.
So Isaac's got a land and a force and one other card that he's flicking around there.
4 cards, isn't there? There's a
Possibly.
Trops in hand. There's definitely Trops and Force.
Might be a Delve creature, I think.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. Dom's position here is quite good. Isaac's Force looks pretty miserable here. And if he does only have 2 cards, he's sitting on land Force and can't do anything. Like, he can hardcast his 4th.
That's true, that is an option.
Yeah, but it's not great.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, he can only do that as well if Dom doesn't use his Deathrite.
Yeah,
it's messy.
Dom's going to tap out, like use his Deathrite for something else.
Which Isaac has to let him do. Is there even enough fetches in bin? Or is there only one?
Oh, well, Isaac's got at least one. We can't quite see Dom's graveyard.
I don't believe Dom has any grave, actually. I think Bob's got exiled. Maybe he's got one in bin, but I don't think he's fetched, has he?
Alright, well, now there's nothing in the bins because Isaac's played a Gurmag Angler.
Okay, so yeah, he's got Force and Trops, I think, in hand. Unless I misread it, it's just Force.
No, just the Force, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, maybe I'll go to the land roll.
So, he looks like he's thinking about doing something with this Deathrite. I guess just attacking, there's nothing to exile.
I'm not quite sure why Isaac delved everything away there then. Unless he just didn't want Dom's Deathrite, I guess. But I feel like he should have left one spell to drain with.
Yeah, that is interesting. I guess he can bluff having something in his hand by leaving up mana. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, you'd think he would just leave something and...
Brainstorm, that's another good one.
Whew.
Dom's just flipping
Delvers all over the place.
Yeah, blind flips to Bolt and Brainstorm are very good. 6 in the airs. Reasonable clock.
And again, that Force of Will's doing absolutely nothing in poor Isaac's hand.
I mean, Angler's a tricky threat to answer because people tend to play like Bolt and Abrupt Decay.
That's true.
I mean, I know these guys aren't playing Abrupt Decay in the Grixis builds, but...
Yeah, but I mean, those are kind of premier removal spells, and like that you would think would be a good against Delver decks.
If there's like a Jace floating around, like I know it's in Dom's deck,
yeah.
But if he draws it, he can bounce the Gurmag, and that'll be annoying to replay.
So Young Pyromancer from Dom.
That's still not a bad one.
Yep. I mean, we haven't seen... I mean, he's drawn less lands, obviously, which looks to have been advantageous to him.
Yeah, and interesting to note, he hasn't drawn any black mana. I mean, he was able to cast his Deathrite thanks to the green off the Trops. But still missing a full color.
That's true. So he does have a graveyard. It's just sitting.
Yep, he does.
Off the thing. So it looks like he just ate a bolt to drain for 2.
Okay.
Maybe we can see about getting those cards just bumped over a little bit. Isaac. Gataxian Probe.
Oh, we'll get to see what Dom's working with here. A Bolt and a Brainstorm.
Bolt and a Brainstorm.
Well, I mean, that means Isaac has to find something right now. Oh, no, is there a creature in Graves? That's not, is there?
It doesn't appear to be.
Or is there a Deathrite still? You might be able to go up to 10.
There's a Bolt, and it's hard to see what...
No, the top card will be Deathrite. Remember his first Deathrite died?
That's true, you're right.
So, yeah, Isaac is able to go up to 10. To not just be dead to 6 in the air plus a Bolt. Isaac drew another Force of Will.
Well, I mean, now he can force pitching his Force, but then, of course, he'd go to...
No cards.
No cards, and he'd also have to go to...
Don't forget, Dom can't actually Deathrite at the moment.
That's true, Dom can't activate his Deathrite, because he does have a Black Sword, but he does have Brainstorm.
Yeah.
And if Isaac goes to 7 off the Force of Will, then even if he gains life, the Bolt is lethal?
Yeah, but he's forcing the Bolt, right?
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. I mean...
Unless
could also force the Brainstorm.
Yeah, if he forces the Brainstorm, he dies, but...
Yeah. Well,
that was good.
Yeah, that's quite good.
So yeah, you could just attack and then activate Deathrite, but that means Isaac can activate his Deathrite in response.
But then he can just bolt him in response.
Yeah,
but then he can force. Yeah,
so
that's true.
He has to sort of wait a little here.
Yeah, it's that weird waiting game with Deathrite.
But he can just do it at the end of Isaac's turn, which forces Isaac to use his in response. So just bolting now.
So Isaac's got a Force here. So Isaac drops down to 1.
Yep. Just represents a stack for whatever reason.
So I guess now Dom...
I'm not sure why Isaac wanted to weigh out the stack. Maybe he wants to use his Deathrite, but surely he can see that that'll get him killed.
Well, Dom can't drain yet because he's got to crack the fetch. So
yeah, that's true.
Isaac can exile the creature from the graveyard in response to Dom cracking the fetch.
Yeah. Dom just waits though. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So at the end of Isaac's turn, Dom can crack his fetch and try and drain Isaac. Isaac can either drain him in response or gain life in response. But
he still just loses to the Delvers attacking.
Yeah, and you can also just untap and kill him with Death.
No, you're right. I mean, Dom's not really incentivized to do anything here. I don't know what Isaac can draw. Yeah, it looks like he can't draw anything.
I don't think anything his deck would have got in there, but I think he just wanted to see the next card.
Always take a look. So yeah, I mean, I guess Dom just kind of drew more relevant cards. We saw, Isaac had a couple of extra lands, and then he got stuck with that Force of Will for a while that, wasn't really helping him in that stage of the game.
Yeah, he did draw like 2 more lands. Oh, I guess Dom drew one at the end, but it was actually good.
And it was interesting, I mean, because Isaac was the one who led off. Like, there was a point where Isaac had 2 Deathrites to Dom's 0.
Sure, but then they died.
But yeah, there was that turn where he goes Bolt to Deathrite, where he killed multiple creatures in one turn, I believe. Like he killed a
Deathrite and a young Pyromancer. Anyway, what do you like from their side board? Do they have stuff? Do you know anything about boarding?
I don't really know much about this matchup.
So Isaac looks like he's grabbing his Stifles.
Sure.
They might board out Forces. I mean, you don't really want to.
You think you just want more stuff that affects stuff that's on the board?
Yeah, Forces not like there's no inherently super unfair cards.
I
didn't see what that was. That flicked out. Did you?
Little lights. Like it might have been a Force of Will. I'm not sure.
Yeah, cool. They're
the Forces are coming
good. That's what normally happens in these type of matchups. Forces at its best against combo decks where you can stop
you want to stop them from doing something that's fundamentally unfair.
Well, something that you just can't beat, right? And failing that, just decks that have incredible value cards. But you 2-4 on yourself, and it's just not. Yeah,
when you're trying to just grind out. Looked like that was a Dark Blast. Dark Blast.
That's cool. Yeah, some people play that.
Yeah, that seems good.
It kills Pyromancer. It kills Unflipped Delvers. It can slowly
kills Pyromancer tokens.
You don't really want to be doing
that.
But I mean,
it's
Yeah,
you can do it.
Grixis Delver sometimes plays one in the board. It's a sweet card. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. It's one of those cards that when it's what you need, when it's exactly what you need, it's just really, really good.
I think that was... I just took something out there at the end. Was it a Stifle? And he puts it back in. Okay, sure.
He's either undecided or he's just having a little bit of a mind game with his opponent. Something else came out there. And can't see what Dom's doing with his sideboard.
No, it was nice of Isaac to let us see what he was doing. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't deliberate, but it was nice to see how someone was
Well, Isaac's played on camera a bunch of times. Maybe he was thinking of us here in the booth.
Oh, and our guy that's doing the camera work saying hello to everyone in chat. Feel free to talk to him. He's a glorious leader, as he was called by SJB in round 2.
Yeah. Oh, so it's interesting to see. I was going to say that the Delver decks have been doing well, but of course, this is not necessarily an indication of how this deck has been doing because these guys have only played one.
So there's been a coup. One Wilfred E. Horrig has claimed ownership of the recording computer by the look of it.
So anarchy could ensue very shortly.
I'd like to think of him as a benevolent dictator. We'll see if he'll come in for coverage at some point after Marco is back. That'll probably be sweet.
Yeah, he may be more. I'm sure he's more knowledgeable on Legacy than I am.
Yeah, I'm not sure who we've got floating around here during the day.
I mean, a lot of the people who are knowledgeable about Legacy are playing in the event, which makes sense.
Yeah. I really don't like Dom sleeves. I'm just gonna go ahead and
they're a bit loud, aren't they? I mean, so are Isaac's.
They're not as reflective.
But they're not as, they don't glare quite as much. So Isaac will be on the play again, presumably.
Well, certainly.
Not that, not that I did him any good last time, but... So it looks like a couple of brainstorms.
2 brainstorms, I think.
Brainstorm and 2 brainstorms and a ponder, and that could be a Delver, that second last card there.
Yeah, I got to agree with Tim here. He's basically just lying to everyone at home.
This isn't Commander.
Ooh, and you've been called out.
I have been called out by Elizabeth in the chat. I've been playing the same sleeves for every pre-release for the last decade, and they are very old and very worn and very shiny blue. So that's fair enough. But I think those sleeves are just about on their last legs.
We can see 3 Wastelands. And a Delver and a Brainstorm and a Pyromancer and an Angler. That's an interesting hand.
No other lands in that hand.
Yeah, no colored sources.
So he's not doing anything. I mean, if he rips like a blue source, it seems.
Yep, so for Tim, there's 2 rounds. Oh, apparently we're getting a quote from Dom in a little bit, but there's 2 rounds of each in the order of... God damn. It went Modern, Legacy, Highlander... Legacy Highlander, Modern, and there'll be 1 of each in the top 8, but we're not sure on the order yet. You qualified via earning points in all of the leagues throughout the year.
So there were 3 leagues, 3 feeder leagues, a Highlander league, a Legacy league, and a Modern league, and there were 4 leagues of each throughout the year. And everyone who won a league got an invitation, and then the remaining spots were filled up by people who had the most participation points.
So it was not just participation points, you got them for winning.
For winning, yeah.
Yeah, winning matches in leagues got you points. So if you made top 8, you got to play more matches, which gave you more opportunities. And there was a cap, I think it was 6 leagues counted?
Yeah, I think your best 6 leagues.
With an opportunity to play something around like 10-ish in total.
Yeah.
I think it was 4-3-3 with Highwind having 1 more.
No, I think there might have been 12. I think it was 12.
Okay, cool.
But Highlander, there are only 3 leagues and then one one-day tournament that was played just last week.
Anyway, another wasteland, because it looks like there's still no colored mana on Dom's side. So
Yeah, that was an interesting keep.
I believe it was not great.
Yeah.
Puja Delta's nice though.
See, this guy in the chat also plays the same sleeves in every pre-release. See, they have sentimental value. So Isaac getting in for one with his unflipped Delver.
I very much doubt Isaac plays basic island. But he could have just left his land uncracked if you wanted to cast a 2-mana spell and then wait, because you can't really waste a fetch land.
He just plays his land and...
But he may also just run out a Deathrite, which has about 1 million lands in graveyard, which I believe
that's
4
true.
currently, which will go up to 6 after this. And he fetches a tropical island, which he doesn't use for anything other than blue mana and Deathrite Shaman activations.
So it's clearly the land he's most comfortable getting wastelanded here.
Yes, it looks like he is just feeding the wasteland.
Oh, he's going to brainstorm.
I guess he just wants to look for more land, but this is really bad if he doesn't find land.
Yes.
I see a Delver.
A young Pyromancer, a couple more brainstorms.
No, but off the top, the middle card is a spell. I mean, he'll get to flip his Delver, but it doesn't look like he'll be drawing land.
Well...
Isaac checking the order he put his cards back. I have seen him put a Forcible back to flip to his Bob before, so he's not the best at it.
Dom found a land.
Yep.
So this has gone from looking not great to quite good, because there's a Bolt to deal with the Delver.
As someone said Isaac found a Ponder, but like...
He doesn't have lands to play it, unfortunately. The cards on top are... He's just about to draw a Ponder, and I think he's got a Brainstorm on top.
Yeah, like he wanted to flip his Delver, but he also wanted to draw a land.
Yeah, flipping Delver only works if the Delver is still on the board.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't know that. I guess he was just hoping that Dom wasn't also going to draw a land of his own to bolt the Delver.
As Tim said, Dom did know when he kept this hand that after he used exactly 3 wastelands, he would draw a relevant land.
Yeah, it was really...
begin to cast some spells.
It was really clever of him, actually.
Yeah, so I really dislike that keep.
Well, I dislike it even more because it's paid off. Isaac discards the young Pyromancer hand size. Dom brainstorming in what I presume is upkeep, so he flips his Delver. This is not going well for Isaac. It's all the more frustrating losing to that keep, I think.
Yeah, and he saw it all before you drew anything else.
Yeah.
What would you do, Wilfred? Would you mulligan that hand, or would you keep, or just snap keep? I'm sure it'll tell us in chat. Isaac just flipping his opponent's Delver. Nice guy, even when he's getting completely beat down.
Oh, so now he's got the second fetch and the flip. He's got the second land and the flip Delver. And Isaac, I guess, wants to draw a red source for the Bolt that I think I just saw in his hand.
He wants to draw land.
I mean, yeah. Not cutting his opponent's deck.
I mean, I think it's his deck that needs the help now.
Yeah, that's true. Oh.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to say.
Multiple wasteland hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Isaac just played a turn 1 Deathrite, he would have had spells for so many turns.
So, looks like Dom kept with his Ponder, and now he's Gataxian probing.
Gets to see...
Look at Isaac's hand.
2 Ponders, 2 Brainstorms, 2 Delvers, and a Bolt.
So, I guess you want Volcanic Islands?
Well, I mean, yes. But he will settle for an Underground Sea.
Yeah. How many of the Wastelands have we seen played? All 3, or just 2?
We've seen 3 played from Dom and 1 from Isaac, which got Wasteland.
That's right. So, I mean, at least Dom presumably doesn't have another Wasteland for the source, the land that Isaac really wants to draw here. Although it would be kind of funny if he does have the fourth Wasteland.
Cool. Yeah, apparently we lost track of our lives for a little bit, but we'll get you updated.
Yeah, it looks like they're just clarifying.
In the meantime, just assume that Isaac's dying because he's not playing any lands, and Dom's masterfully drawn 2 after wastelanding 3 times.
So it looks like it's 14 apiece for the life totals. That's what it says on their pads and on our screen.
Well, Seems consistent at least.
Did Isaac... He looks like he didn't draw a land because that Ponder went straight to the bin. Did you see what Isaac drew?
No, I didn't.
Oh dear.
Oh, another land
for Dom. So unfair. Being rewarded for that keep. So down to 13.
I mean, I think Isaac did draw the polluted Delta. I don't think that was in his opening hand.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just... Yeah,
Isaac's had enough.
Alrighty.
Well, that's disappointing. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that Dom had plenty to do in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder, clearly Dom felt comfortable keeping that hand that was just Wastelands. And I guess if your opponent doesn't play a Deathrite Shaman, it's kind of...
Like, you get still a turn behind if your opponent has multiple lands. They can just play, like, Delver and then flip it and then start threeing you. And then if they have another thing... And they can also just leave fetch lands uncracked to play more expensive spells. I really don't like this.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But, you know... He got there, so... I guess it paid off in this instance, at least.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it was correct.
No, not at all.
Isaac looks a little exasperated with that gesture.
I mean, it's a frustrating position to be in. You'd feel after you Gitaxian probe. I mean, because he Gitaxian probes before he does anything else. He sees the Wastelands.
Yeah,
and he can't play around getting his. I mean, he had 2 lands in his opener or 1.
Yeah, he had a Wasteland and Volcanic.
Volcanic.
It was either Volcanic or
and then he drew the fetch. That's right.
Was.
So he can't really do anything about the Wastelands, but he still has, you would think, a lot more, going on than his opponent, but apparently not. So we're just seeing what happened with sideboarding.
Yeah, the Brainstorm missing,
Yeah, the Brainstorm missing was really lights out.
If he hits a fetch, he gets to shuffle away 2 bad cards and cast spells.
Yeah.
That was definitely what went wrong.
I mean, it happens. It's the worst feeling as well when you Brainstorm lock yourself like that.
Yeah,
and I mean, he's got to fire it off. He didn't have anything else in hand. His hand was all Brainstorms and Ponders.
Yeah.
But it just, that's how it went. Yeah, I guess that is an interesting point. That,
I mean,
if Dom knows that Isaac doesn't play any basic lands,
it's a pretty safe assumption. These decks very rarely play basic.
I guess he could play one island maybe.
Yeah, some play 1, but most don't. It's unusual to play 1, I believe.
Sure, okay.
The vast majority are all non-basics.
But again, as the people in the chat have said, the fact that Isaac could just have Deathrite.
Yeah, no, I really don't like the keep. I believe you just get destroyed by Deathrite.
Yeah.
You only need 1 mana per turn really to play
this deck, yeah.
And basics are very unusual.
So it seems like we could potentially get some fresh blood in the commentary booth.
Yeah,
for round 5.
Let's just quickly switch back to the booth so we can sign off.
Yep.
And then we'll see who we can get in, and we'll take a quick break.
And then we'll be back for what's our next? Our
next one is Highlander again.
All right, cool.
Wilfie, can you switch us to the booth if you're still there? There's a button called Booth just for the broadcasting stream.
Pretty high tech out. All right, we're back.
All right, yeah, we're back. I'm Tom Arthur.
I'm Tom Clift. We just finished round 4.
Yep, and welcome back to the booth.
Welcome back to the booth.
Get into everything.
So we've got 2 more rounds to go. We've still got 1 game left in this round, it looks like. And then we'll go into Highlander and then Modern to see out the Swiss and then into the top 8.
Yeah, we may have some people IDing at some point, but we'll always bring you a feature match. We're going to head off. We'll take a quick break, leave you with just our logo on. And we'll see you guys for round 5. Well, someone will at least. All right, see you guys.
See ya.
We're live on camera. Hi,
Okay.
this is Wolfie Horrig.
And I'm sorry.
It's cool. I'll introduce you if you want. This is Wolfie Horrig, and this is Stephen Campbell, my wonderful co-host for this video. And so we are going to do Highlander, I believe.
Yeah, this is Highlander.
The next round is going to be Highlander.
This is round 5 of 6 of the Invitational.
Yes. Player 2.
Do you know who the pair? We don't know who.
We're gonna be. No, not yet. That's cool.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. So, what's happening? Oh, cool.
Okay,
the
so
round is being repaired. Apparently, that's cool. We will get to it very shortly. So what's been going on in this tournament so far? This is the 5th round, I believe.
This is the 5th round. Yeah. So we started with Modern, and then we went on to the first of the Legacy, then the first of the Highlander, and then last round we had the final of the Legacy matches before the top 8, and then we had now we're going to have the final of the Highlander lands, and then the last round before the top 8 is going to be Modern again.
Cool. So I really think these multi-format tournaments are really interesting.
Yeah, they're quite interesting to watch. There's a lot of different decks out there, even though there's only 17 players.
Yeah, like, you can play. You have to choose in 3 different formats whether you're going to play, something which is established, something which you have experience with, or whatever, and that leads to huge variance in terms of the field, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's very hard to game this one to try and set yourself up for a top 8 because the top 8 is fairly chaotic in nature. So.
Right, you can make top 8 go after going like 0-2 in Legacy, and then play Legacy against someone, right? Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be forced to play one of each format for the top 8. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a cool idea. So do you want to... I'm not sure if our listeners have had this gone through before, but do you want to go through how the top 8 is going to work?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not entirely sure either.
I think the top 8 is double elimination, which means that if you draw your worst format first, you're not shut out automatically from the top 4, which is a good way of doing things, I think.
Right.
Okay, so pairings apparently have gone up. Isaac just shouted something in the next room. So we should be able to get onto something more interesting than the two of us.
Than our faces.
Very shortly.
We'll leave the listeners to decide that one.
Yeah.
But I assume people are here to watch Magic the Gathering.
Yes, not watch me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to it soon.
Okay.
Should we talk about something? That's our job, right?
Yeah, that's our job. We just
talk about stuff.
Just trying to think about what decks I've seen and whether I should talk about in commentary.
Oh, there's been some issue with the pairings again.
Jolly good.
It seems like a kerfuffle. We're kind of
going off to a rocketing good start.
Yeah. But what do you think is good in Highlander at the moment?
In Highlander,
is that the format?
Highlander is the one we're about to go into.
The one we're about to go into. All right, this thing's a little confusing.
Yeah, so Highlander is the current format. It's going to be round 5 Highlander, so the second of the 2 Highlander rounds. The last Highlander feature match was 2 Tolarian Academy decks.
Oh, which is something that we've been seeing in a little more lately compared to previously.
Yeah, well, the deck just got a new Time Twister effect, which is always good. And also, the deck that Matt played, the one that won that feature match, was the deck, or very similar to the deck, that won the Eternal Masters weekend at Dandenong.
Oh yeah, I actually do
this year?
Vaguely remember that. It was just like all the artifact lands and
artifact lands and
Academy,
artifact lands and ways of getting Academy into play, ways of untapping Academy, and ways of drawing 7 cards because you can never have too much of that.
All right, so enough of our yammering. Well, more of our yammering actually. There'll be plenty of yammering.
Plenty of yammering. Yeah, it's not going to stop just when Magic starts, I'm afraid.
But Ben Hawk is going to be our player 2. That's cool. He has been a regular feature of what we've seen so far, and Dom M again.
Probably the only format where Ben doesn't feel comfortable playing Jund. And
is it
too many of those?
Right.
Although he's not playing Jund in Legacy either this time.
Oh, okay. So do you know? Do you have any tips on what these players are?
I don't know what Dom is playing.
Oh, actually, I did say. Oh no, I do know. I saw
Dom's
him.
Highlander match.
Yeah, I saw
he's
him
playing in Legacy. I think he's playing a 4-color Delver deck in Legacy, but that's been featured already.
I saw him play in against Ricardo.
Okay.
and he was playing. I didn't see too much of his game, but I think like 4-color like elves,
Oh,
elves and skull clamps,
We have some
and
actual-
equipment.
So
But that's all I.
do we get? Can we get deck lists or?
I don't know. I think we will just determine from
Yeah.
what's going. We'll know as much as the viewers, which is
Yes. Okay. Yeah. If somebody could bring us the deck list, that would be neat.
if not, it's okay too.
Yep.
The match is not full screen yet. I'm
I
not
assume
sure
that-
if that's intentional, but
Dom is playing something with red, white, and blue in it because that's what he tends to do.
oh, yep, cool, no worries. I'm sure we will get to it soon. Yeah, as far as I know, he's playing like elves and like 4 colors. I saw equipment and elves and some mid-range creatures.
Okay, we're off the screen. That's good.
That's good. No, that's fine.
And
And any idea about Ben?
I don't know what Ben's playing. I think he's actually playing Jund in Modern, and he's playing Bug Delver in Legacy.
Right.
But I don't know what he's playing in Highlander.
I mean, those decks are kind of similar, so that makes sense. I would just try and play the same deck in all 3 formats if we could.
Yeah.
I saw 2 basic planes, so that narrows down the options significantly. What's that? Oh yeah. Dom is playing Expedition lands, which
which is very hard to.
Yeah.
I don't know what the art for the new expeditions is.
All right,
But he's playing a
so
few of them.
if the chat could tell us what card is in play, that would be good. Oh, it's a shock land. Oh, it must be a shock land, obviously, but. All right, it is Expedition.
Oh, maybe he's playing 4 color, so non.
Yeah, no, he's definitely. Oh no, not non-green. I think. Oh, maybe non-green.
He's
Oh,
definitely.
it's a blood crypt. Oh.
Okay, so he's playing.
Maybe like Mardu, like mid-rangey deck, or
Mardu.
like.
It's unusual for Dom not to play blue. He likes his blue spells.
But either way, there's a Grim Lavamancer and Seeker of the Way off to an aggressive start.
Yeah, he's off on curve, which is always good.
Yeah, Seeker of the Way is a pretty sweet spell to play on turn 2. Oh,
That is quite a good response.
no.
He's got black and white
is it?
for removal, though.
Wait, which
so
one's that? Is that the
That is
red
the
one?
protection red. That's Soltari Priest, which is a 2-cost 2/1 shadow creature that has protection from red.
Yeah, although now that we know Ben is playing white, we need that Lavamancer might prove some difficulty, even if his creature does have pro red currently.
Yeah.
Like,
So what will probably happen is Dom will crack a fetch and then use a black spell to kill the Soltai Priest, and then use his Glim Lavamancer to just clean up everything else.
well, like he doesn't even.
Oh no, Dom
have-
seems to have missed his land drop.
But I mean, he doesn't even have to worry about the priest until it picks up a Jide or anything, right? It's not like
Okay,
you can
yeah.
block with it. Anything.
No, he can't block.
Pebcax, is that how you pronounce it? Pebcax. What's on for today is you're currently watching Highlander, and this is round 5 of 6 of the Swiss, and then after that you will be watching
The last round is going to be Modern,
Modern.
and then after that it's going to top 8 after the 6 rounds of the Invitational event.
Cool. Lots of exciting magic ahead. Yeah, so Kitchen Finks is a good roadblock.
Yeah, that's actually quite good. If Dom doesn't put anything in his graveyard, so he might be in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, like he has
Um,
2 lands, and we have to assume that his hand is full of instances of sorceries,
Yeah.
since Young Pyromancer is not exactly what you want to play on turn 3 otherwise.
but if he has so much as one instant or sorcery, Dom's board becomes significantly stronger.
Yep. But still, even if he doesn't have a fetch, rather, he can't use Lavamancer this turn.
Yeah.
Or unless he has a land and 2 1-cost spells, which is not likely. So, if he has a Swords or a Path, then that'll be... Yeah, it looks like he's going to Swords
So
the
swords,
Finks, which is
Finks.
a pretty sick response, since
Yeah,
it's
that
very hard to
seems
find... Like,
efficient removal for Kitchen Finks
yeah, especially in this
in-
board,
in any format.
where he needs to attack through it. Like,
Yep. So he has his first elemental for the match.
oh, how exciting.
I don't think it'll be the last.
Yeah, no problem, Pebcax. Vintage and 93-94. I haven't ever played 93-94, and I don't think I ever will, but it seems like a pretty sweet format. Have you ever played 93-94?
I've assisted some deck builds, but they,
Oh,
don't,
okay.
they don't play the same rules from back then, so it's not the same.
Right.
And they also restrict mana drain as an act of fairness.
I was going to say,
so
apart from in 93 and 94.
It's nothing like the format was back then.
Uh-huh.
It's still kind of funny. You get to see lots of blackboarded cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the format is amusing, but it's not really. It doesn't evoke the era for me at all.
Right. Elspeth. Yeah, I mean, this is not really the best board for Elspeth.
Okay, there's
to come in
Skull
on.
Clamp we seem to have missed when we were talking
Oh,
about
yeah, sure.
93-94. Skullclamp is going to do good work, I suspect.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it looks like this is just he's not playing any green or blue spells at all, just Mardu colors.
Yeah, but it's hard to say as he's missed his 3rd land drop. So.
Sure, but I mean from the previous round that we saw. I think.
Okay. Yep. So you haven't seen anything except. No, that's a Marsh Flats, I think.
It's definitely yeah. It looks like a Marsh Flats. It's a fetch, I think.
Yeah, it's a fetch. So we get to find out what colours he's playing soon. Okay, that's Zealous Persecution is probably going to be
in game 1. Geez.
Yep. Well, the card is exceptionally good, and it obviously works extremely well with his creatures as well. Zealous Persecution, Young Pyromancer is just highly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you expect to play against either elves or, like, Snapcaster Mage and Delvers, like, you really only need to kill one creature for it to be sick.
Yep. Also, with Zealous Persecution, if you're completely tapped out, it'll kill an attacking Curd Ape with an elemental trigger, because the elemental comes into play, then gets +1/+1. The Curd Ape comes a 1/2.
Right.
So, yeah, there's all sorts of. So, Zoo, which you don't think it's good against, because all the creatures have 3 toughness, it actually seems to play okay as well.
Right, you can still use it in combat.
Yeah, because your 1/1s start to trade with their 2/3s.
Which is something that you need to do at some point, since you can't just burn all their guys. Like.
Yeah, they have too many of them. And Grimlife Mancer doesn't kill many of their dudes.
Looks like everything's going to the face, which is bold. But probably reasonable given that Skullclamp threatens, like, without any life gain, basically, if Ben can't land a Jide hit, which is looks like it's going to be difficult against Lavamancer.
White's not very good at haste.
Yeah, like, it seems like Ben won't be able to do anything.
Yeah. Also, now that Ben's on 3, Grim Lavamancer can just close out the game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it doesn't look good for Ben this first game.
No, it seems like all his creatures seemed like they did basically the same thing, but they all cost 1 more mana.
Yeah, and so the fact that Dom didn't get his 3rd land drop until turn 5, was it, or turn 6, didn't slow him down at all.
I think it was only turn 4, although it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're seeing an elemental get skull clamped, and it looks like Ben will untap, and then barring some miracle, well,
Terminus is good.
Yeah.
An actual miracle would be quite good here. And yeah, if there's actually a Terminus off the top, then the Elspeth could just get there. I don't really hold out much hope, though.
No. That's okay. We will fight till the bitter end. Well, we don't have to do any fighting.
No, we just get to watch.
Yeah, and then say stuff.
Zealous Persecution really is quite a powerful magic card.
Yes. Do you see what the card...
Actually...
Oh, what's up?
Dom has cheated that game.
Wow, what? How?
Well, he cast Zealous Persecution before... The elemental
that appeared, which he Skullclamped,
sure. Shouldn't have died until the end of turn, because it was actually +1/+1 from the Zealous Persecution that triggered it.
Yeah, sure.
And so,
you should die in Ben's upkeep, right?
Should die at the end step and generate a second cleanup.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, so basically in the cleanup, all the turn-based effects wear off, and then the Skull Clamp is equipped, so state-based actions are checked. Apparently they shortcut it. We didn't get to hear what was going on.
That's cool.
Okay, so they announced it was going to be end of turn. We missed that. Okay, yeah. So that's all good. Apparently we don't get to hear what the players are saying.
I'm sure regardless it made no difference.
But it's one of those things that generates a second cleanup, because something triggers in cleanup. Both players get priority and a second cleanup step is generated.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, so Pebcax has asked a question, which we can't see. Oh, now we see.
It is 60 card Highlander.
Yeah, Highlander is more like Legacy than EDH, really. Would you say that's probably accurate?
It feels much more like Legacy than Commander. Yeah.
Yeah, it does have a strange point system. That much is certainly true. You can check it out on the internet. Our lovely host is posting the premier website for Australian Highlander in the chat, so take a look at the points list or any sort of other thing you want to look at there. Cool, so it looks like Ben's done sideboarding already. Did you see any of the cards?
They mostly sideboard off screen.
Sure. Yes, that's the problem. Not that we weren't paying attention. We were paying lots of attention, but we just couldn't see it.
Back on the Highlander thing, the points list seems fairly overwhelming when you first hit it, because there's a huge list of cards,
right? And
they all sound pretty good. And it's disappointing you can't play all of them, obviously. But when you get into the format, you actually begin to appreciate the merits of that particular point list.
Right.
So it looks a little arbitrary, but it has actually been developed over nearly 20 years now. This format's getting on a bit.
Tim Hughes asked a funny question.
Yeah, Tim Hughes always asks funny questions.
Is Ben Hawk playing Jund, or is he playing black, green, red, mid range? He's actually playing white weenie, so that's basically the opposite.
Yes. Thank you, Tim.
We love you. That's okay. White weenie. I haven't seen white weenie
White Jund.
be good in a while. I thought that it kind of died out when Zoo. Every set they started printing a good new creature for Zoo.
Basically, what happened? The white weenie Geddon decks were doing okay, and then once the Zendikar fetches came into the metagame, and the mana base for Naya aggressive decks and even sometimes junk aggressive decks became exceptionally good, there just wasn't any reason to play white weenie. But what's happened since then is 4-color and 3-color good stuff decks are really quite rampant, and Blood Moon decks are seeing a huge amount of play. And so white weenie has the advantage that you don't get shut down by stupid 3-cost enchantments from the dark.
Right. Or as a saga.
But mostly when you play white weenie, you take a massive power hit by not playing Curd Ape and creatures of that power level.
Yeah, we kind of saw that happen here.
Yeah, so the 3-color deck was playing more powerful cards, and the white deck, who seemed to have a fairly mediocre draw.
Yeah, I mean, he missed his one, so...
Yeah, so he missed... He didn't get a 1-drop, he didn't have any removal, so... you have to assume that if he had removal, he would have killed the Grim Laughamancer.
Yeah, so, we see lots of planes, at least 4 planes. That's probably not good.
Not good enough for Ben anyway, so he's shuffling that 4 planes hand back.
You take a hit by not playing powerful cards like Curd Ape. Well, if the option is Curd Ape or, Student of Warfare or whatever, I'd rather play Curd Ape.
Or Soldier of the Pantheon.
Oh, yeah.
So...
maybe not Student of Warfare, but, you know.
Yeah, so your creatures are less good at a given casting cost because you only have 1 colour to choose from. But by only playing 1 colour, you leave yourself less vulnerable to cards that punish multicolour decks.
Right, and I mean, Curd Ape has been good in many formats in the past, and even in this current format.
And has been banned in formats for being too good, in fact, but not for over a decade now.
Okay, we won't talk about those dark times.
Yeah.
Alright, so Skull Clamp, Council's Judgment. Is that Sword of the Meek? It can't be, surely.
It might have been sort of Fire and Ice.
No, I don't know, unless there's some... maybe just... Oh,
it's sort of
Pithing Needle. No. Alright, I have no idea.
Speaking of Soldier of the Pantheon, here it comes right now.
Oh, Sword of War and Peace?
I think it... I know one of the white decks is playing War and Peace in main, because they're expecting a lot of red, blue, blood.
Well, this
decks.
is post-board, so...
Yeah.
It would be very reasonable to have War and Peace. Oh, no second land, gross. Yeah.
Yeah, that is less than good.
Yeah, because, assuming he has a second 1-drop, he'd play it next turn, so the optimal thing next turn is that he doesn't get to clamp something, even if he wants to. He won't be able to play a 1-drop and clamp it next turn, regardless of what happens.
If he has another 1 toughness 1, you'd assume he'd play the second 1-drop if he had it in his hand.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like the round should have been 2 of 1 format, 2 of 1 format, and 2 of 1 format, rather than being a random order. We don't decide the rounds.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not that you implied that we did, but, Alright, it is War and Peace. I thought it was Pithing Needle. And before that, I thought it was Sword of the Meek.
Yes, it's...
Hey, they all look kind of like RNG. So Spectral Procession, Sword of War and Peace, Timely Reinforcements, and Council's Judgment. That's a kind of awkward hand to have.
Yeah.
Because not only are there no twos, no lands.
Yeah, so he's got nothing to look forward to from that hand. He only has 1 card that can deal with Tide Hollow's colour.
Sure, but I mean,
Yeah, so I don't think that hand just doesn't...
Well, I mean, it's not like it doesn't do anything, but, the optimal thing, even in the best case scenario, he's not casting a spell next turn.
No.
Right.
No, he's not.
And it's very possible he won't cast a spell for 2 turns.
Yeah. Yes, I don't think he's playing Mem Knight.
Well, Shindir, you can move here, and then once you do, you will have the ability to decide. Well, maybe not. You probably still won't have the ability to decide, but more than now.
Okay, so Dom's in the tank. Yeah.
That's martial arts again. Yeah.
The impression so far is these games have been particularly one-sided. Although if
Mhm.
this Dryad Militant gets skull clamped, it could swing things around completely.
Yeah, but it seems unlikely, like that it will live that far.
No, it's unlikely he'll live that far. But then, playing black, white, red, you have to assume he has access to a massive amount of creature removal. And given this is the sideboard game, and he knows he's playing against White Weenie, he's probably going to go up in creature removal from his main plan. And as he was playing Secret of the Way and Young Pyromancer, it was probably an instant heavy build to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that there aren't that many. Reckon. Like, it's obviously was always a possibility that it wasn't going to kill a thing, but either he's going to play a creature or, like, kill it. So,
yeah.
The chance that...
Oh, didn't get a land off the skull clamp.
Yeah, the